Okay guys, I've been sitting on this video or even making this video for a few weeks now, and I guess the reason for that is there's been some anxiety about this particular video and this relationship that I finally was able to establish. I want to give a big shout out to System76 for collaborating with me on this video and sending me one of their new Adder WS or Adder workstations to check out and share with you guys. So let's go ahead and just jump right into this and just kind of rip the band-aid off and see what we can do here. So when I first reached out to System76, we had some back and forth and just kind of got to know each other a little bit, and they actually agreed to let me custom build my own laptop with the specs that I wanted. And so I went ahead and went to their website and I spec'd this one out with a 9th gen Intel i7-9750H. It's got 6 cores and 12 threads. It's got a 2.6 gigahertz base clock with a 4.5 gig boost clock, which is great for a laptop. I've got 16 gigs of 3000 megahertz RAM, but you can get up to 64 gigs at 2666 or 32 gigs at 3000 megahertz as well. So if you need more, but you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of speed there, you can get quite a bit more memory in this laptop. So to go with that 9th gen Intel processor, this does have an RTX 2070 graphics card in it that's got 8 gigs of RAM. Will do 4K at 60 hertz or 1080p at 120. Both of those are HDR, so you're going to get some really deep dark blacks. And I can say from my experience comparing this to any of the monitors I have on my system or even the 4K TV that's in my bedroom, I've never seen a screen or a display that looks this good. The blacks are absolutely black, and the vibrant colors really stand out more than, again, any other screen I've ever seen in person. So the display on this thing is absolutely amazing. So in order to power that Intel processor and that 2070 graphics card, it's going to need a bit of power, and it's got a 230 watt power brick that you can plug in, or a 62 watt hour battery that of course you can remove and replace and that sort of thing. The one thing that I will say here is that it's about the only thing that you can replace on this without tearing the whole laptop apart. The battery pops out pretty easily, but if you want to update or upgrade any of the RAM or the SSDs, the M.2, any of that, it's quite the process to get into. I gave it a go, but the reality is I'm not Linus Tech Tips. I don't have an extra like $2,600 to pay if I screw this thing up. So if you're more adventurous than I am, you may feel more likely to get in there and rip the bottom off. I didn't want to forego that amount of money, so just know that it is a bit of a pain to get in and open up. So make sure that you spec it out the way you want for a while, just so you don't have to deal with trying to tear the bottom of this laptop off. So the Adder WS has a webcam built in. I believe it's a 1 or 2 megapixel at 720p, which for a laptop of this caliber, even though it's a workstation, I don't think there's any reason to have a 720p camera in this. Like, it's really well integrated right into the bezel. You hardly notice it until you try to use it. And actually, here's some footage that I recorded on the Adder with the included webcam. This is the webcam and microphone on the System76 Adder WS. Okay, so as you would expect, the laptop obviously has speakers, so you can listen to your music, your movies, whatever. But they're not, I wouldn't say they're great. They're mediocre at best. Here's a clip of what it sounds like when you're listening to it. And then I'll have a little bit of music in there of the original clip, so you can kind of get an idea of what that sounds like, comparing kind of apples to apples here. And then I went and found another track that's got a bit more bass, bit more dynamic range in it. So let's go ahead and take a listen to what it sounds like versus the actual track on this one as well. one thing I can say after having used several laptops and Chromebooks and things like that over the years is I'm really, really impressed with the keyboard on the Adder WS. It's solid. There's not really much flex to it. The keys feel really good. They've got a great traveling distance, and I really like the way they light up with several different colors. Of course, you can adjust the brightness, that sort of thing, but the keys look and actually feel really, really good to use. Also, it's got a 10 key, which for being a 15.6-inch laptop, I know that a lot of laptops at that size don't have the 10 key, and I'm really stoked that they were able to get that integrated with the Adder. So talking about things that feel great, I can say that the solid build of the Adder really gives it a quality feel. There's no flex to the body. There's no bend or wobble or anything. This is a solid unit. It weighs about 2.5 kilograms or about 5.5 pounds, which really is a bit more than a lot of people might want for a laptop. But this isn't your average everyday laptop. This is something that is an actual workstation. It's meant to have power. It's meant to crank through whatever you tell it to crank through. And I can say that it's super, super fast. Once you get past the boot up, which does take about 30 seconds from the time you push the power button until you actually get to the login screen, it's about 30 seconds. But once you're in, once you start pressing icons to launch apps like terminals and browser windows and things like that, it's super, super responsive. And I know a lot of that has to do with the 9th gen Intel processor, the 16 gigs of RAM. All of that kind of plays into how fast and responsive it is once it's on the desktop. So one of the things that always helps influence my buying decision, whether it's a laptop or a car or a TV or something like that, is customer service. And I guess fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you want to look at this situation, I had a chance to experience System76's customer service personally. When I received the laptop, I had it for a few days. Everything worked. I was doing some stress testing on it by installing Steam and trying some games, that sort of thing, and the system crashed. And so I booted back up. I went through that process again. It crashed. I ended up having to do like a factory reset on it with the included recovery image that's there. And so I went through all those steps again, and it crashed again, and I couldn't install anything. I couldn't do a factory reset. I couldn't install an operating system. I couldn't do anything. So I reached out to them, opened a support ticket, and I told them all the troubleshooting that I did, and they're like, oh, well, it must be a memory issue. So they sent me a new one, and I returned the one that I had, and I got the new one, and everything works amazingly well. The swap only took a few days, and that was shipping from California to Colorado. Their customer service is impeccable. They're super nice, friendly people who actually care about their customers and want to make sure that they do the right thing by their customers. And I believe that that's not only just because I'm reviewing one of their products. Based on everybody I've talked to, I really feel that it's their company culture is to take care of their customers. So I've got to give a big shout out to System76 for taking care of me. I know that that's kind of their company thing, is they like to take care of people. So while this particular laptop was fairly expensive, even with a modest build out, with the specs that I gave, after tax and shipping and everything else, my total was about $2,600. And so you're not just paying for the hardware, you're also paying for an amazing operating system, which is Pop! OS. I've done reviews of Pop! OS on this channel before. I really, really like Pop! OS. But you're also paying for the people behind the scenes, the people who are developing the operating system. You're paying for the people building the computers. You're paying for the research and the development. You're paying for all of that. So while $2,600 may be kind of steep for some people, you're getting what you pay for with the customer service and the support. So again, I want to give a big shout out here to System76 for giving me the opportunity to check out the Adder WS, kind of do an unboxing. This wasn't really an unboxing, but just a general overview of the laptop itself. I think what I want to do in another video, even though this is meant to be a Linux laptop with Pop! OS as the native operating system, I think I'm going to do a second video where I'll install Windows 10 in and kind of put it through the paces there as well. So if you're interested in a video like that, definitely hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when I put that video out here in the next few days. But if you want to pick up one of these for yourself or take a look at any of the other hardware they've got, whether it's a desktop or a server or whatever, I will have a link to go over to their website so you can check out all of the awesome stuff that they do over there. But I think for right now, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. As always, thanks for your time. I always appreciate your support, and I'll talk to you in the next video.